This week's episode of The Grid is sponsored by Impix. Shoot today, upload tonight, we ship tomorrow. Manfrotto. Imagine more. On One Software that gets you back to shooting. Adorama, more than a camera store. And Tiffin, helping create the world's greatest images.
Yes, certainly is.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another extremely live episode of The Grid. My name is Scott Kelby, and sitting in for Matt Kleskowski.
Hey, everybody. My name's RC.
Is a guy's name is RC.
Hey, what's going on? How are you guys? How you guys doing? You notice that? It's a
good.
very late start. I figured you'd say the name, and then I'm like, this is awkward.
Creepy. Well, welcome, everybody. We're very glad you're here. RC is sitting in for Matt. Matt is on the road with his Lightroom tour.
He's in Boston, I think, today.
Is it today he's in Boston? Yeah. Wait.
Killing it. Sold out crowd, I heard.
Yeah.
I have a friend, Jim Gilbert, who's actually
Yeah.
there, and he's like, this place is like a zoo.
Yeah, it
He's like,
is.
there's tons of different people that are out there, so I thought that was really nice.
And he's in Houston tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Okay. So he's in Houston. If you're in Houston, you know somebody in Houston, say, hey, Matt's right there. Go check him out. Houston. H-Town.
Check out any of the dates. Go to kelbytraining.com.
Yep.
kelbytraininglive.com.
There we go. Now, are those dates that we just give right? Hey, I got a new tour coming out, too.
That's right.
I do. There's where I'm going, to Nashville, Tennessee. I originally said that we were going to Sacramento first, but actually we had to move the Sacramento date. There was a conflict, and now we're doing it in August. So Sacramento's still coming, but my first stop is Nashville,
New York.
Tennessee,
New York.
Nueva York.
New York on July 30th. Wow.
And then Sacramento, and then Philadelphia, and we added a date today for Charlotte, North Carolina,
Yes, that's
with
right.
RC Concepcion.
That's gonna be me.
He
I'm
doesn't
back
know. He doesn't know it's gonna be you.
I'm just
RC.
saying that right now, and I'm like, oh, with me. Yes, with me.
Yes, with RC in. So I'm doing some of the dates. RC's doing the dates.
Now, just put you on the spot.
All right.
Tell me about the tour.
So the tour
tips.
is it's Photoshop CS6.
Okay.
And it's Photoshop CS6 for photographers. Mm-hmm. So it's all based on stuff that photographers want to know. I'm doing my brand new 7-point system for camera raw, doing a thing on portrait retouching, doing a thing on Photoshop down and dirty tricks. So all the special effect type stuff that's real hot right now. Mm-hmm. Plus, believe it or not, a look at editing DSLR video in Photoshop. I did it at the test, and it went over incredibly well, like way better than I ever expected. It's not a long, big segment, but when you see how amazing it is, you're like, that's all I need. As a photographer, Photoshop, just regular Photoshop CS6, not the extended version. Regular Photoshop is all you need to edit videos from your DSLR.
And I'll tell you that when you were doing the production of the workbook, right? So we have a person that's kind of doing the technical editing and the layout and all that stuff. So Jen is sitting there, right? And she's going through the book, and she's like, this is a fast tour. She's like, there's just like idea, tip. So it's not like where you're going to go somewhere and you're going to take a look at something. It's going to be like, well, here's a layer, and to delete a layer, you click. This is like the things that you need to get yourself running as a photographer.
Yeah. And that's what I try to just think is like, I think that when people come to a live seminar, they expect me to like curate it to like, okay, there's a million things in Photoshop, but there's a whole bunch of things we're never going to use. What's the really, really, really important stuff you got to know? Some of the new stuff in CS6, obviously, but also just other things you need to know as a photographer. And then the last class of the day, we have a Killer Tips class that's all productivity, working faster. The last class is all before and after. So I show you, here's the finished version. Here's the raw out of the camera, which everyone goes, and then exactly how to get from the raw photo all the way to the end. So it's kind of like my 7-point system book was, in which you start off with the raw photo and go through the end. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited about it.
It's going to a lot of dates. It's going to go
it's going all over the place. So it's going to be RC or I, depending on which city we go to. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm very excited to be launching the new tour. Photoshop CS6 has got some great stuff for photographers, and so and we'll have a little bit of everything. It's going to be cool. Hey, you know who we do have here with us today? You know, Nancy Massé is on a hiatus for some work she's doing with the French Foreign Legion. However, standing in a very Frenchy way, all the way from where Frenchie would sit. It's Pete Collins. Hey, Pete.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Bonjour.
Well,
Bonjour, monsieur.
Greetings. I got a little flack last week for not being French enough, so I went French this time, but it's a sneaky, subtle French.
How is this French?
Well, I am a French fry cook. See, steak and shake, French fries, a French fry cook. Oh, bonjour, he
you
is
could almost
witty.
see
Yes.
the constituencies of French fry people.
Oh no, they're
leaving.
dropping off.
Look at
People
that.
look at the numbers dropping for
There
the
they
show.
go. Bye.
Oh.
Thank
Steak
you.
and Shake as a model, as a sponsor, gone.
Be here all week. Thank you.
Okay.
I love the mustache.
Okay, so here we go. All right, so I just want to tell you a little bit about today because we kind of got the housekeeping stuff out of the way. We have some giveaways today. The eye stabilizer, a wonderful, like, if you want like DSLR video kind of thing, but for your iPhone. So it's like a DSLR because there's rigs for your DSLRs. This is one for your iPhone, so to help you like steady and take. We have the Spider Lens Cal, so this helps you to be able to get your lens like really, really in focus.
These guys are coming out with some amazing stuff. I just finished seeing them on the website because we were using it. We use the eye stabilizer on an iPhone
I use that.
for webcams and things
Yeah.
like that. So I duct taped mine to a webcam, and that's what we were using on Calibra's Pinterest thing.
Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to mention before we got to our topic was, Calibra launched a web show yesterday called The Playful Side of Pinterest, and it was very playful. It was a ball. Anyway, so that's it. Ooh, right there it is, right there, The Playful Side of Pinterest.
So we use the eye
So
stabilizer.
it says
for that.
join us here tonight at 6, but that was really yesterday. So if you go there at 6 tonight, it'll be a lonely place. But anyway, you can actually go watch the archive thing on her page, calibragplus.com. It's there, or you can watch it on YouTube as well. So
But
it was very fun.
I was saying with this, they started coming out with a whole bunch of different video lines. They actually came out with like a dolly. So you can actually put your iPhone on it, and it has the wheels, so you
And
could do like
roll,
product
like
shots and roll and
zooms
slide.
and slides.
So they're doing a lot of interesting stuff. I think it's kind of cool. I haven't played with this yet, though.
But we're giving one away today, and a copy of RC's book, Get Your Photography on the Web.
Right over
Here.
So there you go.
So there it is. It's
Nice,
a terrific book. People love
light.
that book. People are crazy about that book. They're
You know,
insane.
One of the things that I wanted to do with it was I wanted to write a book that puts you in a position where you would read through the book, and at the end of the book, you would go, that's it? Yeah, that's it. You know what? You can either pay thousands of dollars to have somebody make a website for you, or you can just do it yourself, and you can do it for under $100. So that was
Including the web hosting and everything.
Yes, including web hosting and everything. You can do it for about $100. You can get yourself online, and then once you're online, you can decide to augment and change whatever it is that you want later. So you can win a copy of that book.
I have people come up to me in my seminars and like, RC's book changed my life. And I'm going, this is my seminar. It's supposed to say my book changed your life. Don't come to me and tell me RC's book changed your life. Go tell RC anyway. Hey, we got a great show. So our topic is determined by you guys, actually. So we didn't have a topic that any of us loved because we talk about topics. We're like, what about this? What about this? What about this? Right now, there's not a tremendous buzz on any particular thing. So we asked you guys to return that. We're going to turn it over to you. And man, so we have like 20 topics today. And I've got comments on Facebook and comments on Google+, comments on Twitter. So we're going to just bang through some of these, and we have comments coming in of people that are actually writing in here. So we're going to cover a lot of different stuff. It's not one topic. It's all of the things that are on your mind. I have a really good one to start with, and we will do that in just a moment. Stick around right here on the grid. Don't go away.
I'm Mike Cabasi. Come watch my new video on Kelby Training. I'm going to teach you how to do the old Hollywood 30s and 40s newer style lighting, the portraits, the stuff with the hard lights, the shadows. I'm going to teach you how to interact with the model, how to pose her. We're going to talk about an apple box. I'm going to teach you about grapology, a C-stand. What is it? What's the difference between a glamour shot and a Hollywood headshot? We're going to use lighting. We're going to use diffusion. Make the light turn, create separation, give it a 3D look. So check out my class on kelbytraining.com.
I can't wait to do this again.
Question.
Hey, welcome back. Scott Kilby here with RC Concepcion.
Hey, everybody.
And I want to do a shout out to our sponsor, mpix.com. I actually sent 3 MPix images today. And so I was actually doing them for my friend Jean. She works here. She's pretty big. Anyway, so Jean says, we went on a trip. We all went, a bunch of us went on a trip. And she had the photo books I made after the trip. And she's like, can I get some of these for my condo? And I said, you've got a condo? No, I said, sure. So she pointed them out, and I had the finals actually on my laptop. And so I went to MPix, and we uploaded 3 photos, and we chose the framing, the matting, the whole 9 yards. And she's like, I can't believe how easy this is. And she's like, I just had no idea. And I go, we talk about this all the time on the grid, that if you just go and do it one time, and you just realize, I drag my image and drop it on there, and then I just choose the size, the frame, the matting. If I get it there by 11 o'clock in the morning, it's there the next day. And Jean was like, "This is just unbelievable." And she was completely blown out. So MPix, they are an online photo lab. We love them. They sponsor our show. Without MPix,
The lights will be out.
their screen would look darker than it does now. So anyway, but thank you to MPix. Go check them out. They're wonderful people, incredible customer service, incredible products.
Incredible speed.
Incredible speed, yeah.
They're fast.
So, all right. So we have so many great questions here. I want to read a couple that I'm looking at on G Plus right now. And the one that really caught my eye was from Tim McAndrew. So Tim is looking at all the comments coming in on my G Plus page, and then he writes, judging from the comments here, why are we all so obsessed with gear? Because people are asking everything from, well, one just came in from Fowler Photos. Scott, do you like to use the D4 or the D800 in the studio? And somebody actually said this, but this is the one I wanted to start with anyway, was, so why are we obsessed with gear? I'll give you my thoughts, and then I want to hear yours as well. I think there are 2 main reasons. And I think one of the reasons we're obsessed with gear, and I think it's the main reason, is because honestly, I think it's one of the most fun parts of photography. But here's the key. It's the most fun part of any hobby. So in our hometown, we have a place called Golfsmith. It is a giant warehouse full of golf things. You go in there, and they've got every kind of putter. They've got a putting green with putters all the way around the green. They have a driving range. They have all these different things. And it's just fun. You go in there and you're like, whee, Now, that is part of it. It is fun. I love hearing about the new gear. Like when a new camera comes out or a new lens comes out, ooh, I get excited. I love it. And when I buy a magazine, if it's a photography magazine, the first thing I go and look at generally is the new gear. I really enjoy it. But it's if you're into cooking, you can't wait till the new pan comes out and the new saucepan. If you're into golf, I remember I was a drummer when I was much younger. I still play drums, but I was a drummer, and I could not absolutely wait until some new set was released. Now, and this is another interesting side effect of this. So my favorite drummer was Danny Serafin. If you're going, Danny Serafin? Who the heck is Danny Serafin? Danny Serafin was the drummer for Chicago, the band Chicago. The first concert I ever saw was Chicago, and I sat right behind Danny Serafin. Had this whole concert hall, and I sat behind him so I could watch him play. And he's a terrific drummer. He is now with a band called the Chicago Transit Authority, which was the original name of the band Chicago. And then they dropped the Transit Authority, so he's back with Chicago Transit Authority. Just a tremendous drummer. And he played Slingerland drums. And so I got the Slingerland catalog, and as soon as I was able to afford to buy a drum set, I bought a Slingerland drum set, very much like the one Danny Serafin had, and they would come out with these little things to make my drums a little bit better. I remember buying a clear plexiglass enclosure for my snare drum that would make it sound a little better. So that's the second part of this. The first part is it's just fun. I don't care what your hobby is, if it's golf or whatever. But if you go to Golfsmith, you will see things like they're trying to convince you why you want to change your golf ball, because this one is going to get you closer to the green. This one flies 30% farther. This one is so good it's been banned on the tour. Have you seen? You don't play golf, but if you play golf, they have if you pick up like Golf Digest, like banned in 7 countries, you can't use this ball. It goes too far, you know. And so you get all these little things to give you the edge. Right? You buy a driver that is as big as a car battery because you just wanted to hit that sweet spot. And you buy a putter that has this weird thing at the end that's going to make your putts go straighter and all. Now, at the end of the day, you know and I know, if you're into cooking and you have these fabulous cookware, right? It doesn't really change how the food tastes. If you get a phenomenal chef and you go, look, all I have are these used frying pans from Walmart, then they're 6 years old. That cook is going to make a phenomenal meal. And if you had the best ones, it might make their job easier, but the food's going to taste the same.
So it's just the fun part of it.
It's the fun part because the camera is like, look, I've sat in Nikon sponsors event and heard the speaker say, hey, look, if you buy the $1,000 camera, honestly, if you shoot it in the middle of the day, it's going to look about like the $6,000 camera. The chip inside, it takes a great photo. The cheap camera takes so what's the difference between the cheap camera, and I'm not just Nikon or Canon or whatever, what's the real difference? Is how sturdy it is, how many features it has, because as you go up the chain, it adds more and more professional features, right? There are features in the D4 that just aren't in the D7000.
Right.
But could you or I really tell the difference between a photo taken with the D7000 or the D4? If I mixed them up on a table here and made prints, and it was shot in daylight, would you be really able to? No. So it's fun. And I think those are the two things. I think, number one, we have to stop discounting the fun aspect of gear. It's just a ball.
Is it expensive?
Yes. Well, it
Is
depends on
golf
what you want.
expensive?
Golf is crazy expensive. You know what a driver costs? You know what a great, big, massive Bertha costs? A whale?
Were Slingerland drums expensive?
Slingerland drums were way more expensive than the Stewart drums I started with.
Expensive hobbies. That's what happened. The only reason I was laughing about it was because I was thinking about something that you and I do share in common, which is Call of Duty.
Oh, yes.
So we're playing Call of Duty. We're hanging out. And
We
I'm
hardly
like,
ever play, though.
No, almost. But I'm sitting there and I'm playing, and Peter Zielinski, right? Phenomenal Call of Duty player. I'm talking to him about it, and he was just like, I got this controller that takes this, and you can lower down the action of this.
Oh, and he's getting
then
new
you can do
headsets,
these.
he said. The
headset.
competition headsets?
Which are not very good. He's actually sending them back.
Really?
Yeah, he's actually turned me on to the Turtle
These are
Beach.
Turtle Beaches.
The Turtle Beach XP500 headsets are the ones that I'm thinking about getting. You know how much a headset costs to play Call of Duty? $249. Dear God, I hope my wife's not listening.
Now, does it change the way he aims his scar?
No.
With a silencer?
No.
A suppressed scar?
No.
Does it, Pete? Pete's pretty good at Call of Duty.
Yeah, we like Pete.
We like Pete. We always like Pete. We want Pete on our team.
Quiet sniper.
He's a quiet sniper.
But so it's looking at it. He wears gunner glasses, right? The little yellow glasses. They're like $100 and something. He has a cream that he puts on his hand that they sell specifically to play. Now he's phenomenally good, but there's all of these different things. Every hobby has that kind of accessory.
Right, and we really love it. So gear. Okay, so here's a couple comments in. Diff Photo says gear is the fun part, but it's also the very easy part. If you can't take better pics, you can always have a better camera. It's true. You know, it's interesting. So a lot of times we'll teach workshops on the road, and a lot of the people that come to our workshops are very successful people because we charge way too much for our hands-on workshops. So it's a lot of doctors, lawyers, attorneys, anesthesiologists, surgeons. It's a lot of people that have a lot of money, and a lot of them will like, well, I just started shooting 6 months ago, and they pull out a D800. A D4, 600 millimeter. They're really, really passionate about this stuff. They have the money, so they go buy all this incredible gear, and they're like, now where do you use a compact flash? Yes, you should. You stick it right in that little slot there. So it's.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's like it's like if they started golf, they would go out and buy whatever clubs Tiger Woods is using.
It's like, good for them.
All right, what is Tiger using? I'll take a set of those. And those clubs, the Woods, I'll take those too. And I'll get a Nike bag with it.
So can I tell you my thought on the entire why do we do gear?
Please, yes.
I think that a lot of the times what happens is we tend to find gear to be a substitution for the effort that we need to put into things.
I think that's what that guy was kind of saying. Yeah.
And it's easier for me to believe that this camera will give me that ever elusive picture than
Or there's a setting inside that camera.
that there's a set. And it comes off of something that you say, that everybody's looking for that magic button inside the camera, the setting that you flip on that makes it look awesome. When the fact of the matter is, there's so much more work that's required to do that. Like when you take a look at a location shoot, right? And you go out to a location and you take a look at a landscape shoot, you need to go out at 3 o'clock in the morning. You need to get your gear ready. You got to travel. You got to do this. Matt just did it twice. He went back to another location in California, drove 3 hours to get down there, and he got down there and he was skunked a second time.
Fogged out like you couldn't believe.
So it's like the amount of dedication that's required to do these kinds of things. A lot of the times people are like, well, I want to take a great shot, but I don't know how much effort I want to be able to put into that shot. And they're like, effort? I don't know.
It's like the guy I met in London who wanted to take great landscape shots, but was like trying for me to tell him away he didn't have to get up early and shoot at dawn or shoot at dusk. He's like, well, I want to be home before the sun goes down, and I don't really want to get up. What if I could just shoot it at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon? What if it was just, you weren't really that serious? And I'm like, dude, if you want to get the kind of shots you want to get,
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. But now, and so let me go on what you said.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. It's like the gear will get you closer. It's like the light will get you to do one thing less. Here's a perfect idea. So people talk about lights, right? When you talk about white, so you go from one side, white lining, all the way to brown color. At the end of the day, they all produce light. It's all different color light, different shift of light,
Bright flash of
recycling,
light.
whatever it is, all of those different types of features. But people are like, well, I don't want to have to think about the recycling, so I'm going to buy this. Or I don't want to have to think about a color shift, so I buy this. But at the end of the day, it isn't really about any of that stuff. It's about what you're doing behind the camera with your finger.
I know, but you know what? Think of this, and this is going back to my Danny Seraphin thing. So because I saw Danny Seraphin playing, I like Danny Seraphin. I like the kind of style that Danny played. I like what he was getting out of his drums, so I bought Slingerland drums. I think a lot of times, and you can correct me on how you feel about this, is that people will they'll watch like Cliff Montner and Cliff shooting 85-1-4, and they go, oh, I got to have an 85-1-4.
Yeah, no, I know, absolutely. I think that there's some aspirational side to that.
Right, there's a thing where you go, that guy's, and I think that's why a lot of times people, they always want to know, what camera body did you use? What lens did you use? Because then they can go buy that camera body and lens and get a similar result. But it's just like when people ask for, what f-stop was that?
I don't know.
What does it matter? Look, there's only 2 f-stops you can use, right? They're either going to use one that makes the background out of focus or not. Right? It's either going to be f2.8 or f11 and on.
I don't use f-stops at all.
I know. So RC
disabled it.
He's disabled f-stops. I don't blame you. I disabled ISO. I don't use ISO at all anymore, period. I don't use auto ISO. I've turned off ISO. So then you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so back to our story. I think that's another part of the whole gear thing is I think we love gear because it's fun. I think we love gear for what you said. That it
gets you closer.
It gets you closer to where you want to be.
Takes the onus off of you.
Yeah, I don't have to work as hard because I bought a $6,000 camera, and that's okay. I spend too much money on gear myself, so well, hold on, I forgot. Nikon sells me all those free. They send me free bodies and camera. Oh, no, they don't. No, I have to buy them like everybody else. Okay, so I get accused of that all the time. People are like, oh, well, Nikon sends you all these bodies. Of course you say they're good. And I'm like,
here's the receipt.
Nope. Call B&H. They'll tell you.
Not only that, but you have to wait in line just like everybody else does.
Yeah.
Like it's like when it comes out, you're like, ooh, I can't wait to write a blog post about it.
Oh, God, Ken Tony gets his stuff weeks before I get it. I'm always like, dang, how can I got to get further up this thing. All right, we have so many good questions. I want to go over a few of them.
Wait, sorry, I got to interrupt you. How do you turn off f-stop and ISO?
Oh, that was a joke.
It was a joke.
We don't really turn off ISO or f-stop.
You can't.
I know. I said that to McNally once. They go, yeah, it's in the menu. And he was like, what? And I'm like, no, of course not. Okay, let's see. So that was a good one. Judging from the why are we so obsessed with gear? I think it's for 3 reasons. It's fun. It takes the onus off us. And what was the third one? I had 2 points.
No, it takes the onus off. It takes the onus off of you. It's fun, and you can afford it.
And you think it's going to be better.
Yeah,
you think it's going to make you a better photographer, which is, it's like the golf thing. You think it's going to get you, a longer drive or something. Okay, let's see. We had a couple other ones that are really good. There's a lot of quick ones here. That was a very big, broad topic, but there's a lot of quick ones. How to get to the front lines as a photographer on sporting events. I can't find enough info about where to register, how to get those sports photo pros. So that's from Peter Toman. So Peter, unfortunately, it's never been harder to get on the court or the sidelines or the anything or the infield of any sporting event. It's become very, very closely controlled by all kinds of organizations. Sometimes it's for safety. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's for they just, they want to control it. It's, like the NFL and the NBA and the NCAA all have little rules about who gets on the sidelines. Honestly, the only way that I could tell you to reliably get on the sidelines is to shoot for a wire service, is to find a media service that'll let you do that. Now, I can tell you a story about a guy that I met at a NFL game last year. He was shooting his kid's high school game. He sent some of the photos to a very, very small newspaper way outside of where he was, maybe 3 hours outside of town, and said, hey, here's some shots that I've been taking. Do you ever need somebody to shoot, a game for you? Let me know. And they actually said, well, actually would like somebody to cover the NFL game for us next week. He did such a good job that the team hired him to shoot for them. So now he shoots every single NFL game in that city, and really super nice guy. But it all started from shooting from a local small newspaper. So I think maybe that might be your way to get in, is to shoot some sporting events to be able to. Now, he had good enough shots from his son's football game to go to the local newspaper and go, hey, look, here's what I'm doing. And they went, hey, this guy's pretty good. Let's take a chance on him. Mm-hmm. They had him shoot, I think they had him shoot like a college game or two first. Then they said, well, you want to try an NFL game? Of course, he about blacked out. And now that's all he shoots. So good for him. That's awesome. That's just my little short one is
start small, work up.
Smart, small, work up. But it all starts with you having some photos to kind of get your foot in the door.
Yes.
Let's see. There was a couple other ones. I got a lot of them over on. I'm going to have to go. When does retouching and compositing cross the line of being too much, RC?
I think that you're dealing with retouching and compositing. It's how much compositing can you have that's too much compositing? It's like, at the end of the day, I tend to think that all bets are off when you're working in commercial and you're doing all these different types of things. When you're doing photojournalism, then you're not supposed to do any of it at all.
Yeah.
When you're doing stuff for your own art and appreciation, this isn't like, nobody's going to hold this against your permanent record for what it is that you're doing. It's just photography. It's art.
I wrote last week when somebody was complaining about the HDR thing I wrote this article and I wrote, it's art. There are no rules.
And see,
there are rules for everything else in photography. But as soon as you say, I'm an artist, there are no more rules. If you're shooting for a newspaper, there's rules. Sports, there's rules. Mm-hmm. Shooting for a magazine, there's rules. Sending stuff to a competition, there's rules. There's rules for every segment of photography until you say it's art. At that point,
at that point, it's interpretation. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, when is it too much? It all depends on whatever market you're working on, right? So if you're doing stuff from a newspaper, chances are you probably shouldn't be doing it at all. If you're doing some for an ad campaign, all bets are off. There are a couple of kind of gray areas and taboo areas. Generally, they have to do with people and anatomy and things like that. When you're doing the retouching of women, you want to make sure that you're not contributing. But even that's an ethical gray area. That's not necessarily it's too much versus not too much. Like, there's no hard and fast rules with that. And I think that that's part of the problem. When you're looking at this kind of stuff, people get so hung up on that's too much, that's not enough, this is the right way,
you know what
this
it
is the wrong way.
This is a media thing, because I would say 99% of the images that we see, while they're retouched just fine. Mm-hmm. What happens is somebody does a ridiculous retouch for a fashion magazine. It all of a sudden is, it's all over the web. Everyone's talking about it. And I think that I don't like that stuff at all. I think making people's waists this thin and making people look completely different than they look is, I just don't like that at all. I want a bunch of subtle things. I want you to make me look as good in a picture as I do when you see me in real life. I'd like you to make me look a little better than I do in real life. I'm okay with that. Hey, can I tell you something, though? I kid you not. This is unrelated but semi-related. I had to go get, for the first time in I don't know how many years, my driver's license renewed.
I heard about that story.
All right? I had to get my driver's license. I was there for 3 hours yesterday, but it wasn't the driver's license place fault. But I go over to take my photo, and I'm getting ready to do my headshot, and I think, I'm going to do the Peter Hurley trick where you lean forward, And I did it. I did the lean forward, and I go over and I sit down, and the woman that takes it, she goes, wow, you took a good picture. And then somebody else hands it to me, and a woman goes, wow, you took a great driver's license picture. These are two completely different parts of the DMV talking about my driver's license picture. I can show you. Well, no, because somebody will zoom in and get my driver's license number and some crazy. Well, look, I am an extremely handsome man. I kind of look.
He just emits pheromones.
Well, know what it is? She looked at my driver's license picture. She goes, Mr. Clooney, George Clooney.
Oh.
I said, no, that's me right here, Scott.
Clowny.
Google Plus conference. I'm hanging out in the middle of the Mission District. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting and taking HDRs of like this graffiti area.
Yeah.
And somebody who I ran into here that was watching Peter Hurley stuff gets together, and we're all hanging out and we're doing stuff, and he's like, hey, let me take a picture of you over there. And there's a bunch of us together, and then all of a sudden, all you see is everybody do this. And look, you could even see it on camera. Can you go to the front camera real quick? Watch this. Look, this isn't really so good, but watch this.
God, it's beautiful.
It's just, you see this? Shebang.
Shebang, dude. Anyway, it has nothing to do with anything. But anyway, I really, really do not like the... Wow, there's a great comment up there.
Yes.
I really don't like the over-retouch stuff, and I don't think there's really a place for it. But you know what it is? We're not going to be able to legislate it. At some point, the big fashion magazines are going to have to go, you know what? We have a certain responsibility. I'm a father of a 6-year-old daughter. They're going to have a responsibility at some point to go, you know what? We want our celebrities and our covers to look great. Mm-hmm. But we shouldn't make them look crazy. They should look like they look in person. If they look a little better, it's okay. They shouldn't try to make perfect people.
And can I tell you that I think that, and this, like you were saying, that magazines are going to have to be held accountable for this. I think that people have to be the person. You have to decide not to want to buy Vogue.
Yeah,
I think the more people that actually don't buy Vogue because they do that kind of stuff. But
here's the problem. It's never going to happen. And here's why. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but only a little bit. All right. So we had a news channel here in town years ago that made a big declaration. It was on every billboard in town. We are no longer going to carry bad news. We are only going to play good news. We're only going to play happy stories. You're going to hear good news. Everybody else is talking about all the bad news in the world. Come here and we'll enlighten your day. We're going to be, hey, great news. Look at this kid that did this amazing thing. Look at this and all. That was the shortest lived change of focus for any TV station in history. In about 3 weeks, everybody left that station like it was on fire, and they went back to regular news. Now, if you do a poll, everybody will tell you, I hate the negative news. I don't watch news anymore. I don't do it. But you know what it is? That's baloney. That's exactly what we want. The media doesn't try to manipulate us like people think they do. You know what the media does? They try to give us what we want. And that's what I don't, when I read these people, they go, oh, it's what the media wants, not what the media, If the media thought, if you really wanted good news, every single channel would change to good news, if we really wanted it. That's the problem with Vogue. And not with Vogue, I don't even want to use them, but just the problem with whatever fashion magazine is doing, because it's not
it's
Vogue
not just Vogue.
It's
Vogue
not
is
Vogue.
just a fictional example.
Yeah, right, okay. So it's that we must want that. We may get and argue and scream that this is wrong, but this is what we buy, so it must be what we want. Do you think any big magazine would retouch it in a way that it looks bad if they thought they would lose one reader? As hard as magazines fight to retain readers, they would never put something on the cover that would lose them readers. Right. They would find out, what do our readers want? Let's do more of that.
But see, and that's the part that I thought was funny about it, because people are like, well, it needs to stop, it needs to stop, it needs to stop. And I'm like...
But they won't stop buying the magazine.
But if you look at, like, whoever's XYZ magazine sitting there going, well, we haven't lost any readers yet, so this must be working.
Right. And so that's it. As long as these magazines are, and it's every product everywhere. You can say, you know what? I am never going to go to McDonald's because they offer this new triple Big Mac. You know what? If the triple Big Mac doesn't sell, you will never hear about it again. People got all outraged about Hardee's making some big burger. Do you know why Hardee's makes that big burger and still sells this giant burger the size of a car battery? It's because people want it. And that's what it drives me nuts when we talk about these things.
Or the double down. Did you see the double down? Kentucky Fried Chicken?
The double down?
They took, instead of the bread, you have 2 chicken breasts.
Yeah.
And then they put the bacon and the cheese in the middle of it.
No.
The chicken breasts are actually the bread.
No. That's like in Atlanta, there's a burger place where they take 2 grilled cheese sandwiches and that's the bread. It's a grilled cheese sandwich, a grilled cheese sandwich, and a double cheeseburger in the middle. I'm not kidding. I'm not eating it. My brother-in-law ate it there. He was crazy. He told me about it.
I had a double down.
Anyway, that's why that's why we're never going to see the magazines change unless the magazines decide that we have changed, that we as a society have decided we want something different. Hey, Jen wrote, the reason people stress over settings is because they don't understand them. Jen, that's brilliant.
That's good.
The reason, and you're right, people are like, oh God, if there's some setting I'm using, oh, it's our Jen. Well, there you go. Very great. All right, Jock says, is it fair to compare a sports shot with a hired model, full staff, and trunk full of equipment to a shot taken during an actual sports performance where you are at the mercy of midday light and live action at your control? Well, here's the thing, Jock. It's 2 completely different topics. One is a portrait, right? One is actually a portrait. You're going to the stadium when the stadium's closed, or you're doing a composite in your studio. So you're doing a portrait session. When you're shooting during an actual game, you are capturing an event.
A moment.
A moment. You're capturing an event and a moment, and you have no control over it. So no, you can't compare the two because they are 2 separate topics. One's a portrait shoot. The subject happens to be an athlete. The other one is an athletic event. So they are completely different. And you should, well,
Making versus covering.
yeah, and you can't even say how one would be better than the other because in reality, at events, you have amazing things happen during a game that you may not be able to recreate with a portrait, but that's not what you're trying to do. They're just completely 2 different, completely different birds. Hey, I got 4 real quick ones that are really, really good. Martin Tyler says, how about photographers' computer gear? We see you sitting there with your MacBook Pros, but do you also have workstations, large monitors, large disk arrays? And what about you when you are on the road as compared to home? All right, so RC, besides your laptop and your ever-present iPad, what gear do you use? How much do you do on your laptop?
Pretty much everything. Pretty
Me too.
much everything that I have. The MacBook Pro that I have now pretty much handles everything that I need to do. If I need to do any kind of hard, raw processing of stuff, I have another laptop, a Dell, a PC, M6500, that has a lot more RAM and it has, just more cores and things like that. It seems to work better on anything that I have to do heavy lifting on. But for the most part, everything that I've done, I tried to pare down to just the Mac. Now, the biggest problem that I'm having with the Mac is that all I have are...
I didn't turn off my phone. Who's calling
I just
me?
have a hard drive problem,
My
right?
editor.
Because you don't have a lot of storage space. So I spend a lot of time carrying separate drives, and replicating those drives to... Now I need to find a solution for an external drive, but
I got a solution.
do you?
Well, I think, yeah.
Okay, all right. So I have all these external drives that I connect to the MacBook Pro, but everything has been done through there. I'm excited about the Retina display MacBook Pro, if for only the fact that they have 2 Thunderbolt drives, which makes it a lot easier. Now, for the MacBook Pro, I connect that to a big screen. So
Okay.
when I'm at home, it almost always gets plugged in, big screen.
What kind of monitor?
I have a Dell 30-inch
Dell?
monitor.
Yeah, all right. Wow, that's big.
And so everything's done on a 30-inch monitor, and then the only thing that I have duplicates of are tablets. So I have a Wacom 205 at home, I have a Wacom 205 at work.
Yeah, okay. All right, I do 90% of my work on this Mac laptop. At home, I do have a 27-inch iMac that I love. I just don't get to work on it as much as I want. Now, it's really, really fast. I have nothing on it, just photography stuff. I don't have a bunch of fonts installed. I don't have InDesign. I don't have email. I got nothing. It is like out-of-the-box Mac with Photoshop and Lightroom on it. And that is it. It's clean. It runs very, very fast. I love it. I love the screen. I love everything about it. I have a nice tablet. I have a Wacom 205 right there. Problem is, I just wind up, goes with me everywhere, and I do just most of my work on this. So I hope that answers your question. I had a bunch of Drobos, but I'm switching to something new. I want to wait until I write my blog post about it, but I've done 2 different things for my storage needs here. The next one is, Scott, are you getting the new Drobo? They actually, I believe they are sending, not to me, but to one of our reviewers, the new units, and they're going to review it. But
Are those, what kind of?
Drobo came out with a bunch of, 2 new models.
Oh, okay.
They just announced. I haven't seen them or used them. But here's what the problem is going to be with that, is that let's say that they bring them and we plug them in and they work great. That's not, I need to know how they're going to work a year from now.
Not now.
Right, like now, I expect them to work fantastically right out of the box. How could they not?
Right.
But my issue was never how Drobo works right out of the box. It's how Drobo works or doesn't work down the road. So
Right.
All we can say is, wow, yeah, this is faster. It's got Thunderbolt, I think. We'll be able to say, is this better than the old one? Speed-wise, probably yes. But I mean, it's a very, very hard thing to judge. Okay, more comments. What gets it? Greg Chin asks, what goes into getting the Jay Maisel in Paris video to Kelby Training, and why does it take so long? This is a very interesting question. I'm not going to go into a big long explanation, except for this. So we spent a week with Jay in Paris, running 3 to 4 cameras. We're shooting, I'm not kidding, from 9 in the morning until 10 at night, nonstop. We're in taxis, we're in subways, we're in, on boats, we're all over, everywhere we went, on motorcycles, wherever we go, whatever we did, the cameras are rolling, right? When you get back, there are hundreds of hours of video to go through. Each little segment has to be watched, has to be tagged. I can't even imagine how long that takes. And they started doing that process, and they're like, so then, once all that's done, you have to have someone who's now sitting there with hundreds of hours of movie. And they take the Jay Maisel things very, very seriously. Adam Norman is our director. He was there on location. He directed it, and he actually is the lead cameraman. And then he winds up editing it. He takes it very, very, very seriously. And has done, if you've seen either A Day with Jay or Another Day with Jay, he's absolutely brilliant at it. Just a really, really talented guy. And he takes that and treats it like I'm doing a documentary for the Discovery Channel. And here's why. Because he knows that this is more than a training class. This is a living legend of photography. This is going to live on for forever. This is something you've done that has historical significance, because you're capturing one of the greatest American photographers in his environment, sharing his wisdom, shooting, talking about things that are going to live on way beyond. Jay's 80 years old? So, at some point, this will really become a very, very important history of Jay's life. And I hope it's a long, long time from now. But Adam takes all of that when he edits it.
And that takes time.
It takes, for him to do it the way he wants to do it, and for the way that you want to see it, Greg, it takes a lot of time. And a regular Kelby training class, I think, takes 2 weeks. That once you get back and they put it together, they say it takes about 2 weeks. Now take that and expand it into a week of shooting in Paris. A lot of French spoken. That makes it tough.
Yeah, a lot of translation.
So that's why it really takes a long time. It's to be able to doing it, to do it at the level we want.
Right,
Okay.
and you're having a bunch of people now take a look at this stuff, and they pour it over, and they do all of this kind of stuff.
Right. All right, Paul Howard says, how about if you've never sold your work before and you're wanting to get into it? How do you? What should you watch for? Do you enter contests and competitions? Do you go to photo sales sites, stock photography sites? Do you referral sites? We could do a whole show on that, but I can tell you this, Paul. So I just signed up for SmugMug. All right. So SmugMug, RC has been maintaining my portfolio, and I feel very bad to go to RC every time I need to add a photo or take away a photo.
It's fine.
I know it's fine, but that's how RC is. RC will never tell you no, because RC just wants to help everybody. But at some point, RC has to have a life as well. So I switched to SmugMug. I put up my first gallery, which is just a gallery from my Parisian trip. But in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be customizing it and formatting it in the whole nine.
I'm going to take care of that as well.
No, you're not. I'm doing it myself. No, I'm doing it myself through SmugMug. But one of the things that SmugMug does is let you sell your images. So I think, and a lot of people, so you sell off of Flickr, don't you?
Yeah.
Now, I also, on 500px, they now sell. You can sell off of 500px. I had the funniest
Not as
thing
much.
happen. On 500px last week, I'm uploading a shot. I think it was from Paris or from Cuba. I upload a shot, and it asked all these questions. And one of the questions was, I thought it said, is this work for sale? And I hit no. And then about an hour later, I go back to look at my image, make sure it posted correctly and all, and it says nude content, and it's grayed out. And it says click to see it, and I clicked it because it's my own photo, and it was my regular photo that was not nude. I'm like, what the heck? I go back to the edit, and it said, is this work safe? Not is this work for sale? I went, oh, yes, it is work safe. I'd hit that, no, it was not work safe. So anyway, but no, but they actually do. They sell. They do. You can sell on 500px. You can sell on SmugMug. I think those are some great places to start because, number one, you'll see if your work is saleable. If you put your work out there for sale and you don't get any sales, might be time to buy a better camera, right? A lens. 8514. Come on.
And just to kind of clear, clear some stuff up.
Just saying.
The stuff that I do on Flickr, I don't make it a habit of telling people on Flickr that I'm selling it. I usually just kind of just put it out there, right?
And then someone will contact you and go, hey, RC, I want to buy this.
What I like about that is the fact that it puts me away from it, right? It's not RC from the grid selling this stuff.
Right.
People are just I started it off as an experiment, and then I turned around and I was just like, I'm going to leave it. It's actually working. It's not paying rent, but it's helping me buy the next piece of gear to feed the habit. So for me, if it doesn't, if I can use it to buy a lens, or if I can use it to buy something else, then that's great. But what it does is it lets me test tagging and keywords.
Is it because you're not willing to do the work to get the good photo that you want to buy the gear?
Yes.
Okay,
it is,
good.
Sadly.
Right. Also, if you think today that I wore this MPix shirt right here, let me see if I can get out of the way, just because they're our sponsor, well, then you'd be absolutely right. Okay. Now, there was one other thing. Now, I don't think a lot of people realize that a lot of the work that RC sells are nude self-portraits.
That's right. It is.
And so
black and white, textured.
They're black and white. They're textured. They're
So you
tasteful.
can put your hand on it.
I think they're kind of tasteful.
And by it, I mean the print.
The print, right? The print.
Print.
But I think they're surprisingly tasteful.
Well, I mean, think about it. How much Velcro can you use before you actually cross that line?
Right, and that's for a whole nother show. All right, a couple more questions here. This is so good. How about discussing photographers stealing other photographers' photos to boost their portfolio? He says, and this is Bruce Feingold, either it's a growing problem or more people are just getting caught. I came across this site the other day. I'd heard a few of them, including ones on G+ users who were very vociferous about it. It's called stopstealingphotos.tumblr.com. So here's what they're saying by stealing. They're not stealing the idea. They're actually stealing the photos and saying, I took these. They're going to their own website, posting a bunch of wedding photographer, maybe from Seattle, and maybe they're in France. And they put up all these photos and go, here's my work. Hire me for your next wedding. But it's not really them. It's a whole different photographer. And they put their watermarks on all the photos. I went and looked. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. They're actually stealing a photographer's photos and just saying they're theirs, figuring, no, it'll ever catch up.
So what was the question on that?
Well, it's like, how about I have a discussion doing that? So I was talking to my wife, Calibra, about this just before the show. I said, I couldn't believe this. I went and looked, and there's all these photos, and they're just, it'd be like me going to Joe McNally, steal a bunch of Joe shots and go, hey, hire me for your next editorial shoot. I mean, that's what it is. It's the same thing. So I think the interesting thing there is, like what Calibra said is, you know what it is? They're just scam artists because they won't be able to reproduce any of those things that they're putting up. And I said, I know, but they've got the money. You already hired them for your wedding. They shot your wedding. You don't have a choice. I mean, that's it. They're just basically gambling on, I took stock photos or I took photos from somebody on Google and no one will ever know.
The only good thing about that, I think, is that now that we're working in this kind of interconnected world, we have this... Those things can be spotted a lot faster, and those things can be snuffed out a lot quicker.
Right, and this website is doing that. But dude, can you imagine how many people?
How many people have lifted shots of you of yours as a sports photographer to try to get access?
No, I'm just. I wasn't thinking that at all.
No, but like in general, could you imagine?
You wouldn't steal mine. I'd go steal Bill Frakes. That's what I did. That's how I got signed with a wire service. Go to Frakes, go to Dave Black, steal their stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, speaking of Dave Black, everybody that's out there that has a spiritual side like me and RC, or Pete. probably not Pete. But hey, you know, send a prayer out to Dave Black. You know, he's out in Colorado, had to evacuate his home, and it looks very, very bad. Not only that, he's had to evacuate twice now. He had to evacuate from the place that they moved him. He says it's almost certain that his home is gone. All he was able to do was grab what was there. They have the terrible fires out there.
God.
So throw up a prayer for Dave Black. He's one of the nicest, most genuine guys out there.
And it's amazing how awesome it is to just kind of be around him, to listen to him and talk.
He has a energy and a glow that is infectious.
But then at the same time, you marry that with just how amazing he is as a photographer.
He's incredible.
It's just he's a great being. A lot of positive energy going your way.
And he does a lot of great things. So our prayers are with him that somehow or another the fire misses his home, and because can imagine how devastating that would be.
Oh God. It's
Alrighty, let's see. A couple more comments here. You know what? We're going to take a short break. We've got some giveaways to do when we get back. Also, let's give away a couple of tickets to our new tour.
Yeah.
So we're going to give away two. So Pete, are you ready to do our giveaways in a minute? When we come back from this break, you look concerned.
Yeah, I have no clue, but I'll be ready.
Are you? You know this. I'm not sure that there's any other show on the air that has a French fry cook.
Monsieur Pibb.
We are the original.
Wow, it's very exciting to break new ground like this.
We're breaking something.
We are going to take a short break. When we come back, Pete is going to have changed into an entirely different outfit. We'll be able to look at some of RC's shots he's selling on Flickr. And
nudes.
Well, yeah, mostly. And then we'll be right back to give away some prizes and stuff when we return here on The Grid. Don't go away.
Hi, my name's Dave Black. I want to welcome you to our light painting set right here on location. Light painting is one of the most stylized approaches to lighting and photography that there is. It's a very artistic approach. It's not with strobes, large power packs. It's all done with flashlights and mobile light sources. Very stylized, very exciting stuff. You can do it. I can teach it to you right on my video at kelbytraining.com. So come join me at my light painting class.
Hey, we're back. Scott here with RC, filling in for Matt Klaskowski.
Hey, everybody.
We got a bunch of giveaways. Pete, how can they enter the giveaway thing? And then we've got some. We're gonna head about 10 questions real quick.
Well, Scott, I'm glad you asked. Today on The Grid, you can get in on the prizes by simply adding your name, email, and which prize you want. We need to make sure. Brad, are we ready for the contest?
Yeah, because we don't want people. Don't worry about us. People will not see your email, which is what we're having to fix.
Okay, we're turning it on. So now you are able to send in. Make sure you put in your name, your email, and which prize you want. And let me tell you what prizes we have for today.
Please do.
We have a free ticket to each of the seminars that Scott and RC are going to be giving on the Photoshop CS6 for Photographers tour. So whichever city is nearest you, say that's the city I want to go to, and put me in for the drawing for that city. One free ticket for each one. Then we're also giving away the eye stabilizer. Great little gadget for your iPhone. Next, we're going to give away some book called Get Your Photography on the Web by RC, Bam Bam Concepcion.
Right there.
And finally, we're going to give away the Spider calibration tool of awesomeness. Right there.
There it is, right there.
And so make sure you put in your name, your email address, and which prize you want. And we'll pick those and send those stuff out to you.
Thank you, Pete. That was very well done. It was semi-professional and everything.
Why, thank you, Johnny.
Very good.
Very good. Yes. Yes.
Right you are.
All right, sir. That is wild. Okay. Hey, I got a bunch of things here on Facebook we're going to go through. They're gonna just real short, quick answers. Mark Carline, or Carline, asks, As CS5/CS6 is so expensive, should photographers now be making better use of Lightroom? Two quick questions. Number one, you should be making use of Lightroom for a whole different reason than the price. Is that Lightroom was designed from the ground up for photographers. As for the price of Photoshop CS6, it's $19.95 a month. That's cheaper than dinner at Chili's. So now it's $19.95 a month. The full Photoshop version, you can rent it. And if you're thinking, oh, I was never going to rent software, you rented the meal at Chili's. You only kept it a few hours. More than $19.95 with tip.
That's what you got to do. Sorry.
Yeah, and you get it for a month. And then you get it for as many months as you want. But anyway, the whole Photoshop is expensive thing is they've made it ridiculously affordable. So that's good. All right, Brandon, B.A. Anderson. I haven't upgraded to Photoshop CS6. I don't know if it's worth it for me. So go to, where can we send them to? Where's our learning center for Photoshop 6?
PhotoshopUser.com/CS6. Take a look at all the features.
Go there, all the features are right there.
Guaranteed you're going to find something there that's going to make it worth your time to upgrade.
All right, Adobe did add this week to the Creative Cloud. They added Lightroom. So now the whole deal just got a lot more interesting for photographers because they add it to Lightroom. If you don't know what the Creative Cloud is, basically if you have an earlier version of Photoshop for $29.90 or earlier version of the Creative Suite, going all the way back to like CS3, I think, you can get for $29.95 unlimited use of every Adobe product, all the Creative Suite stuff. I think there's one that's missing. There's only one product, and it's one you wouldn't use anyway.
Right.
But
and there's products that you can only find in the cloud.
I think it's like Adobe Copy Edit or something, or InCopy. I think that one. But they got a million things. So there's our launch center you're seeing on screen right there. So all kinds of stuff there. But it's like After Effects, Premiere, Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, Dreamweaver, Flash, on and on and on and on and on.
Oh, look right there. You see the center part right there? If you want to know more about this, you see there's the second link in the center box. Says RC in the Creative Cloud. If you click on that, that's going to bring you into the Creative Cloud website. There's a series of videos that I did for Adobe.
Oh, yeah.
Working on that.
Dude, the Creative Cloud is the most unbelievable thing, and it has been already just a giant success. Everybody it's super buzz.
I love it.
So anyway, I think a lot of Creative Cloud users go to Lightroom this week and are coming up from Aperture. A quick guide would be nice.
Oh, that's a good night. That's a good idea.
Yeah. I know it'll be basic for a lot of people, but sometimes it's nice. That's a great idea. Thank you, Carrie.
I'm writing it down.
Ferry can. Oh boy, I'm sorry, Ferry, for what I'm about to do to your last name. Ferry Knin. All right, let's see. Ooh. I've seen a lot of photos online over the recent months that have a green-purple tint to them. Is there an easy way to replicate this? There is a color lookup tool in the adjustment panel. How do one implement the use of this? So, Chris, there are a couple of things. A lot of those green-purple tints are coming from cross-processing effects. You can do those manually in Photoshop. Honestly, a lot of people are using Nik Color Efex Pro 4 and they're cross-processing. They have like 15 or 20 of them. You choose the one you like and click OK. The color lookups in Photoshop CS6 do a very similar type of thing. And basically, there's all these presets. But here's what I want to tell you. When you open the color lookup, the 3 default presets are you choose them and it asks you to open something. Just ignore that. Don't even go there. Choose anything from the second preset on down. So, because it's a long story, but don't choose the first one of any of the lookups. Choose any other one, second through however many there are.
I'm excited by the lookup.
Those are good. Also, here's another one. If you go to the photo filter, go to the gradient adjustment layer, click on the little pop-out menu, and you can load all these other ones. There's a brand new one called photographic toning.
I didn't even know that one.
They added that in CS6. It's one of those little known features. They hired a professional photographer who's like an expert in this stuff to give you traditional film effects, split tones, duotones, all that kind of stuff right there. So also try that as well. You just apply them, you choose them, boom, it's done. They're presets. You know it's all presets.
What we'll do is, Pete, can you do me a favor and actually make a video of that for the Photoshop user website? Sure. So just make a quick video for that. Just if you're a NAP member, you can take a look at it.
Dude, the guy's doing fries all day long. He's got plenty of time.
Like even to listen to what y'all were saying just then. I was trying to answer something. Sure, I'll do whatever you want.
Okay, let's see. If you, as an RC, and you were embarking on the beginning of a photography career today, how would you go about that given the huge recent change in the industry? I'm not sure what the recent change. This is Trevor Johnson. Hi, Trev, up in Canada.
Hey, Trev.
I'm not sure what the recent change in the industry is.
Well, I think he probably means the influx of so many photographers.
Oh yeah, that everyone's a photographer.
Cost cutting or pricing.
How does embarking on a new? You know what I would do? I would really focus. This is just me, but I would really focus on creating a look that is mine, that is reproducible. That you can, Joe McNally was talking about this on the grid a couple of weeks ago about having a look and a style that you can go, that's the guy I want. That's what I would work on. I would work on, it's either in camera or how you shoot it, how you crop it, how you post-process it, but it has to be a repeatable style that someone can count on you to give you that look. Now you can make every one of your photos have white faces. But some kind of style, whatever it is, that's what my recommendation would be. If you want to work today, anybody can take a good picture. You have to have something different.
I would add to that I would also try to spend a good amount of time on creating a mechanism to be able to get those pictures out to as large of the people as possible. By that I mean working on a really, really good website, making sure the website is solid, making sure that you have a process that's in place whenever you put a picture up to be able to share it with your social networks and then have that come back to your main site. A lot of times photographers forget about the fact that if you want to share your stuff, you can't just share in one place. You got to go where everybody else is, and you have to have a process in place to be able to do that. The more you do that, the more professional it looks. The more professional it looks, the better it is that it's going to be for you. But it still is a struggle, and you could be doing this for a bit of time to 1 people, 2 people, 3 people. It's not like you get the process done and then all of a sudden tons of people come in. You got to kind of do it for a while, and you're going to have to toil at it in order for you to be able to make it good.
Chris O'Donnell asks, the 2012 Worldwide Photo Walk, any news yet? I can just tell you this. I can tell you a couple things about it. Of course, it's going to be in October, and it's going to be on a single day. Last year we tried a Saturday and Sunday, and it didn't work worth a darn. So we're back to one day. It'll be a Saturday in October. We'll be announcing I think the official day will be in August, I think. So we'll a lot more news, but we got to wrap up the show here. A couple more things real quick. A lot of questions about sports and football season coming up and stuff. Teaching a class on sports photography at Photoshop World this year.
Nice.
So the one I did at the Google Plus conference, and it worked really well there, so we're going to do that again.
Nice.
Let's see. Here's a very interesting question, and it'll probably be the one that takes us out. Let me just look and see if there's anything else. Oh,
I didn't get a chance to see your sports class at Photoshop at Google Plus. So
there's 3 good ones. We don't just have enough time to get them all. This is a really they're hard to cover in a very, very short sentence because they're not yes or no answers. Mitch Seaver asks, with the amazing quality coming out of crop sensors now, so a camera that actually zooms in a little bit. So like a D7000 or a Canon T4i or a Canon 60D or something like that. All right. So the amazing quality coming out of those cameras, is it okay for a just turning pro photographer to save a little bit of money and stay with a crop sensor camera? Or do you have to go full frame to be a serious portrait shooter? So Mitch, here's the thing. I don't know where you heard you have to have a full frame.
Yeah, I don't.
You know what you have to have a full frame for? If you're shooting landscapes for a living. And by the way, nobody's shooting landscapes for a living. I mean, because you would never know. You would never, ever know. There would be never a way for someone to go, you're shooting a crop sensor, you're shooting full frame. Unless you're shooting a 12 millimeter wide angle. You'd go, well, how are you really going to get that wide on a crop sensor? That might be the only way anybody would ever know. And by the way, it's not like all of a sudden that the sensors have gotten so much better on crop. They were good 3 years ago. They were good 5 years ago. 5 years ago, there were no full-frame cameras.
Right.
Were people not taking good photos 5 years? Joe McNally took some photos 5 years ago. Seemed like they looked pretty good. It has nothing to do with – get this sensor crap out of your head. Seriously, every time I read one of those, I just want to scream that because someone has made you think, and it's not your fault, Mitch, so I'm not blaming you at all, but someone has made you think that you have to buy a full-frame camera to get a good photo. That's just absolutely killing me. Now, like, you can't be a pro if you're using a crop sensor. I just want to scream.
Now, I bought a full-frame camera. A lot of the times, it wasn't because of not being able to get a good picture, but I bought it for low light handling.
Right. I bought it for the particular sensor, but there are full frame cameras that don't do good low light. So it's not like, oh, you want a full frame camera so you can get low noise, because there are ones that are full frame that have horrible noise. So that's absolutely not it. It really is about the chip. But don't think that there is a real, like, you know, pros use full frame, amateurs use crop sensor. Absolutely not the case. I would say at least half or more of the pro football guys on the sidelines are shooting some kind of a crop sensor.
I'm going to do a shameful plug. I'm going to say, get the crop sensor, use the rest of the money that you can save yourself.
Lenses.
On either lenses or training.
Hey,
training.
Brad just pointed out there is a class with Dave Black and I, speaking of Dave Black, that's going to come up before football season. I think it's in late July, on shooting football, shooting high school football.
Nice.
So it's a class. We actually went and shot an actual high school football game the whole night, all 4 quarters. So Brad, did that comment just come in? Oh, okay. So Bob Christ, who shoots for National Geographic, loves the D7000, and he shoots for National Geographic. I can't believe they're letting him shoot a crop sensor. Anyway, so poor information you got there, Mitch. But you're a good guy. It's a good question, and save the money. And like RC gave you really, really great advice. What really does make a difference is the quality of the thing. Hey guys, we're completely out of time. There's a lot of great answers. I love this format where you guys just send in all these questions, and you know, sometimes we have something really pressing to talk about. Today we're like,
well, let's just see what they say.
Yeah, and you guys came through in a big way. So thank you for taking the time to share those thoughts with us. You guys did a great job. Pete, I just want to say you were wonderful today.
Thank you.
The outfit, the loose association from the Steak and Shake hat through the French fry cook.
Maybe next time I'll even wear pants.
And on that note, we're gonna RC. Thank you, bro.
Not a problem, man. Happy to have you.
You did a wonderful job, and we'll see you guys. Thank you to MPix. And where can they learn more about RC?
You can go to aboutrc.com and go to aboutrc.com. That's probably the easiest way.
Wait! I got to tell you something. There's something new. Whoa. There is some new big news. What? Matt Klaskowski launched a brand new blog, the Ski Report. The Ski Report, but you have to go. You can
mattklaskowski.com.
Now we have to spell Klaskowski because no one's ever spelled it correctly. It's it's KLOS, Kloss, KOW, cow, ski,
SKY,
cow,
SKI.
There it is, the Ski Report.
Can we zoom into that name? Zoom into the name.
The Ski Report. The Ski Report. All right, so because he's, Matt Klaskowski. And anyway, but the reason why he has a new blog is because he's been running Lightroom Killer Tips for years, and it's really about Lightroom. He wants to be able to talk about photography and Photoshop and lighting and compositing and all these other things. And Taekwondo. By the way, this weekend, he competed in the World Championships of Taekwondo in sparring, which he was there for, in his age group, second
in the
world. Number 2, don't make Matt angry. Don't walk up to him, make sudden moves or anything, do anything like that. He'll freak out and break your arms. But anyway, congratulations to Matt. Congratulations on the launch of his new blog. And you can find me over on Google Plus at scottgplus.com or at my daily blog, scottkelby.com. Brad, thank you. Daniel. Wani.
The Wani.
Wanigan.
Jib
Magic
wave.
Wand. Jib Wave. See you guys. See you next week right here on The Grid.
This week's episode of The Grid is sponsored by MPix. Shoot today, upload tonight, we ship tomorrow. Manfrotto. Imagine more. On One Software that gets you back to shooting.
Adorama, more than a camera store. And Tiffin, helping create the world's greatest images.